We all long for happiness. It's the thing we most dream for.
Hail to the altruistic revolution. Let's go for it.
Now the first exercise is just going to get us ready for the big finale.
Brain fog. Yes, I just said brain fog. The moment that this beautiful thinking brain of ours all of a sudden feels like it's packed with cotton wool. It often happens right about now, which is 2:45, brain fog zone, 90 minutes after you've eaten lunch, and your blood sugar's gone up here, and now it's rocketing down here. And you're sitting there thinking, nothing's going in, nothing's going out, she's talking to me. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Nudge the person next to you if you think they're in brain fog. No, I'm kidding. Okay, we all laugh at brain fog, and I want to share with you one of my biggest brain fogged moments. This is me 3 years ago at Happiness and Its Causes. I was beside myself 3 years ago when Beth and the conference coordinators asked me to speak on vitality, energy, and happy hormones. Beside myself. I love talking about preventative wellness. I love talking about happy hormones. So I got to, on the morning, and I was speaking with the Dalai Lama, the holiness. I couldn't believe it. Beside myself, the epitome of my career. I wake up that morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I go and do some loads of laundry. I feed my dumb dog. He's dumb, but he's cute. I feed my 3 children, do some more laundry, upstairs, put my makeup on, boom, off to Luna Park. Get to Luna Park, I deliver my talk with passion, with purpose, and most important, on time. And I sit back down amongst the holiness and the monks, and I'm so like, yeah. And a friend of mine comes over from the media and goes, Michelle, are you all right? And I go, yeah, why? And they go, well, up there on the big screens, the really big screens, your face is like shining like a beacon, like a big oil slick. And now I'm looking at you and your face is like peeling. And I went, no, please do not tell me I was in brain fog and I forgot to take my facial mask off. Brain fog, we all have it, and we laugh about it. But we don't laugh about this. We don't laugh about the crazy things that are going on in this world in the cognitive neurological spectrum. We laugh at brain fog, but we don't laugh at ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, Asperger's. What is going on in this space? If we were to ask our grandparents or our parents if these kind of dysfunctions were going on in their world at our age, they would say, no, darling, what do you think is going on in your world? This is what's going on in our world. We have 1 out of 5 people here in Australia, the lucky country, suffering from mental health disorders. We have 1 out of 4 young women between the ages of 16 and 24 suffering from anxiety, depression, and mood disorders. Those are statistics we know about. What about the millions of others that are suffering in isolation, being crippled from their daily activities? We know that these disorders lead to things like self-harm, even cutting, things like drug and alcohol abuse. It is my very deepest privilege to be a qualified nutritionist, a presenter, and an author. I get to speak in schools and corporates every week here in Australia and around the world. If you work in the corporate environment, you will know that mental health disorders is the leading cause of absenteeism and low productivity. If you work in the school environment, or if you're a parent, heck, even if you know children, you'll be interested in this story. This is Allie. Allie and her mom came to my clinical practice, A Healthy View, a couple of weeks after I had spoken at her school. I get to speak at lots of schools. Allie came in and said, hey, Mom, this is the Australian nutritionist with the big New York accent. And after I got over that, Allie went on to talk about how when I came into her school, how I talked a lot about how food was connected to not only skin and hair and teeth, but also to hormones and mood and brain. Allie said, oh man, Michelle, you started a lot of conversations at our school, but the one conversation that we loved the most, or I loved the most, was this. You got us all to close our eyes, Michelle, and you said to us, hey girls, I want you to think about the happy girl. I want you to think about the healthy girl. I want you to think about the vibrant girl, the one who's full of energy, the one who's even a little bit cheeky. I want you to envision the fun girl. And this has nothing to do with weight, girls. I want you to think about the fun girl. She said, well, you know, Michele, you caused 1,000 conversations. She said, but a few days later, my friends had a friend intervention with me. And they said to me, hey, Allie, what's going on with you? You haven't been coming to the gaths. You dropped out of netball. What's going on? Just checking in with you, man. You used to be that fun girl, Allie. So Allie's all worked up and getting really teary, and her mom jumps in and says, Michele, for the last 6 months, we've been working with a lot of health professionals around Allie's health. She's had some really dark, stormy moments. Her self-esteem is about here. She's sleeping like crazy. She never goes out anymore. Her eating habits are erratic. She's in a really, really bad space, and we're thinking about possibly going on some medication and stuff. Allie jumped in while her mom was talking and said, hey, Michele, you know what, we're also now just figuring out that we're all eating more than 40 teaspoons of sugar. You know, thanks for showing us that. Anyway, there was lots of conversation, and they asked if they could work with me. For sure, I said, absolutely. I'll tell you more about Allie in a moment. Allie is not alone, right? So it's not just in kids that we see this. In our clinical practice, we do corporate presentations all the time. Adults, smart people, politicians, bankers, you name it, will come to our practice. They'll come to our practice and they'll go, oh, you know, I'm here for insulin resistance. I'm here for diabetes. I'm here for cardiovascular disease. I'm here for a bad tummy. And then many of them will say sheepishly and silently, I'm also suffering from anxiety and depression. Right? This is going on all around us. So if you are in the corporate workspace, you'll know that this is happening everywhere. So this got me really, really curious. Got me so curious that I started to become the mad researcher. I thought to myself, what is going on in 2017 that wasn't going on with our parents? What is going on in our crazy world? I became a mad researcher and curious. And you are also curious, otherwise you would not be in this conference called Happiness and Its Causes. Here's what I found to be true. Trial after trial and more trials. Research. Outstanding research. And then this. The gold standard trial. For those of you who know that randomized control trials are the gold standard. This controlled trial of dietary improvement for adults with major depression, it's called the SMILES trial, done by our very own Deakin University. The world has this research in its spotlight right now, and so it should. The conclusion is like the little snippets of information that I just showed you, the little bits of research. Similar type of conclusion. These results indicate that dietary improvement may provide a treatment strategy for the management of this highly prevalent mental disorder. 2017 study, the world has it in focus. Wow, wow, right? Here's what I know to be true. Mental health disorders are silent, often silent, and always scary. And they have many different causes, from genetics to stress to grief. Things that we cannot control. What we know now to be true is that food, nourishment, and its nutrients can be connected to mental health disorders, particularly things like anxiety and depression. This we can control. Here are some of my key findings. Vitamin B12, found here in our beautiful meat, fish, yogurt, dairy products. What do we need B12 for? Incredibly important not only for energy production for our muscles, but incredibly important for our brain energy. Vitamin B12, essential in the synthesis of neurochemicals. Where are we lacking? Where do we see vitamin B deficiencies, B12 deficiencies? Particularly in vegans and vegetarians. I am not discriminating against anybody at all. I have a vegetarian daughter myself. I'm delivering important facts. The next mineral that I want everybody to think about, the next nutrient, is iron, found here in our red meat, our dark meat chicken, and our green leafy vegetables. Iron is incredibly important for the synthesis of hemoglobin, which carries our oxygen to this thinking brain. Iron is also absolutely essential and necessary for the synthesis of dopamine and serotonin. Where do we see iron deficiency? In our clinical practices, we see more than 50% of the people with iron deficiency. But again, where do we see it quite often? In vegans and vegetarians. Let's move off them for a moment, and let's talk about thyroid sufferers. People who have thyroid disease or thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, or hypothyroidism, or heck, even a sluggish thyroid, they know. They feel sluggish, they feel anxious, they feel depressed. We've got 1 out of 4 people here in Australia suffering from subclinical thyroid condition. What do we need to make a happy, healthy thyroid? We need iodine. And iodine is found in our fish, in our shellfish, and sometimes in our mineralized salts. But here's the thing, we need it to make thyroxine for our thyroid to work properly. But here's the thing, we are so lacking iodine in Australia that Food Standards Australia has mandated to bread manufacturers to put iodine in the bread. This came about because they were so concerned about the development of a fetal brain inside pregnant mothers. The other nutrient that we need and the thyroid loves is this, selenium, found here in our beautiful seeds and nuts, particularly the beautiful humble Brazil nuts. What's wrong with selenium? Nothing, but it's depleted in our soils because of over-farming. The next thing that you might be surprised of is that we have too little fat. I'm not talking about processed fats and trans fats. We have that in abundance. I'm talking about omega-3 fats, found here in this beautiful walnut shaped in a brain, for me to remind you to say, this brain is made up of 60 to 70% fat. It loves omega-3. And omega-3 also does this wonderful thing. It dampens down inflammation. And inflammation is a key predator in depression. Now, the next one will really surprise you. We are lacking in carbohydrates. We have carbohydrate phobia going on. What the heck is going on? Massive carb phobia everywhere I go. So here's my friend Jamie with root vegetables and sweet potatoes and brown rice and quinoa behind him. And he's saying, get over carb phobia, everybody. But what he's representing is a whole entire group of B vitamins. B is our energy vitamin. B vitamins, right here, energy. If you take protein and it breaks down to amino acids, one of them is tryptophan. Tryptophan plus vitamin B creates serotonin. It's a biochemical pathway. This might surprise you, or this will not surprise you at all. We have too much sugar. We've got the sugar monster everywhere. I'm not talking about natural sugars, vegetables, and fruits. Bring that on and bring back the love of food. I'm talking about the abundance of sugar that is in our healthy mueslis, healthy smoothies. What's happening? That sugar is creating gut dysbiosis. It's creating candida. It's creating inflammation in our gut. What we know to be true, evidence-based research, is that most of our serotonin, up to 95%, is created here, not here. Does it not make sense if we get this cleaned up a bit, we might help improve this? Absolutely. Okay, that's a lot of information, right? So let's take a step back and just talk about reducing food hackers in a summary. Eat real food. Unprocessed and unpackaged most of the time. I live in the real world. I've got 3 kids and a dumb dog. I don't always do that, but I try my best, right? Eat colorful food. Why? It's full of antioxidants. It's full of phytonutrients, and our cells love that. Eliminate processed sugar. Why? Processed sugar, banged up tummy, possibly banged up here as well, neurochemicals. Bring back the love of carbs, slow carbs, not no carbs. I mean, I love food, and I want to bring back the love of food. We know that those carbs have lots of B vitamins in them. Optimize protein, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stabilize your blood sugar, and we also know in protein we have beautiful tryptophan, which is the precursor to serotonin. And I also want you to bring back the love of healthy fats. Stop the fear of fat. Fat will not make you fat. It will help with a healthy brain. Now, some of you might be thinking about my little friend, Allie. I got to work with Allie, her family, her doctors for about 4 months. And it was small steps, nothing big, because big things don't work, particularly with kids. And Allie became more and more vibrant every week. So it's speaking to her on a regular basis. And I didn't hear from her for about 8 weeks. And then I get an email from her, and I was super excited, opened the email straight away, and there was nothing in the body of the text. I went, oh, darn. And I went to hit reply, and I looked at the subject. The fun girl's back, smiley face. And then I had to decode, TYVM, thank you very much. And I just thought to myself, the fun girl's back, that's awesome. So let me leave you with this inspiring thought. Mental health disorders, anxiety and depression is often silent. It's always scary. And it has lots of causes, and many of them we cannot control. We know that food and nutrients have a connection to anxiety, depression, and mood disorders. If we can help 1%, 5%, we are so winning with our fork. Thank you very much.